Hi everyone, so I'm going to be discussing this table that's found in the paper Role of Allelic Variants of FK506 binding protein 51, FKBP5 gene, in the development of anxiety disorders. And this paper is written by Minelli et al. And basically what they want to do is that they want to look at genetic variations in this gene called FKBP5. And the specific genetic variation that they look at is called RS13608 T allele. And then in their first set of data here, they actually compare controls to patients with MDD, or major depressive disorders. And the controls are basically people that do not have any psychiatric disorders. They look at the minor allele frequency. The frequency can be calculated, can be obtained from a database, and then the numbers that they calculated here are according to that. And then the allele model, they do a chi-squared test to compare these two groups, the control and the MDD patients. And they actually find a p-value of 0.31, meaning that there is no significant difference between these two populations. Later, they conduct a genotypic distribution according to the Hardy-Weinberg equation, and they find that there is no significant difference in the genotype distribution between the two populations, and they carried it out 3 different ways. So doing a co-dominant model, doing a dominant model, and doing a recessive model. And again, as you can see from these p-values, they're all greater than 0.05, so basically says that there is no significant difference in the genotypic distribution of these two populations. And in the second part of their table, they actually compare MDD patients without anxiety, MDD patients with anxiety. And the reason they do this is because they know that major depressive disorder often occurs with other symptoms, and the specific one they want to look at in their study is anxiety. So here, their specific hypothesis is that this RS13607T allele constitutes a risk factor for anxiety disorders and comorbidity. And so they conduct their chi-squared test, and they actually do see a significant difference, a p-value of less than 0.001. And then they do this genetic genotype distribution according to the Hardy-Weinberg equation. And they test out these different genotype models to see if there's any significant difference between the genotype distributions. And 2 values actually stand out, so codominant and recessive. They both have a p-value of less than 0.001. And I'm actually not sure why they chose to further analyze the recessive and not the codominant as well. But basically, these really small p-values indicate that there is a significant difference in the genotype distribution. And then they conduct this odds ratio, which assesses if there's an association between the genotype and the disorder. So here they got an odds ratio of 3.15. Basically, any number greater than 1 indicates that this genotype, a recessive genotype, is associated with a disorder. So having anxiety disorder in this case. Thank you.